Hello and welcome to the Dutching channel. It's a bit of a weird one this, but I've had two people ask me over the last week and I've given it some serious thought. Some people don't understand the system or they're not at home to do all 20 to 30 bets in one day and wondered if there was another way of doing it. Now, I can actually put your bets on along with mine. So what we would need to do, if we just go through the profit and loss sheet very quickly, and we come down to the end of yesterday, you can see I've added in a couple of columns here. One of them says 50.77. Now, that is how many points the system is winning in 3 weeks to date for a pound stake. And my stake is a lot more than that. It's 50 times that. So mine would be 253866. But how would we work round this is I have to sit here and depending on how many meetings there are, an average meeting takes me about an hour and a half to work the form because at the end of the day it's all about the form that counts, not the system, because we've got to get the right horses at the top of the market. So that just 4 meetings can take me up to 6 hours, and worse at the weekend, of course. Then on top of that, I would be sitting here for about 8 hours betting, while yourself would have just invested money in and doing nothing for it. And of course, like me, if I lose, you would lose as well. So on the right hand side of the 5077 here, I've got, which I've been through everything, is a 40% profit for somebody who wants to join the club. So if I was to have £1 stake, I would have profited so far in those 3 weeks £50.77. And yourself, if someone came into it, all you would have to do is put your stake in and leave it. Now, how much stake you would need to put in would be up to you. But first of all, you've got to have a minimum of 20 races invested, because at some point you do go down before you come back up, and in gambling we know there's no guarantee. So if you started with a £1 stake, you would need to invest 20 times that £1. And that would cover you for 20 losers lower than how many winners we have. Now, I know that doesn't make any sense at all, so I'll try and say it again. But we could end up having 3 winners today and we could have 4 losers. So we would be on -1 for the end of the day. I'm just using this as an example. So until you're on a -20, you will still have enough credit in there. Right? I've never gone 20 races consecutively that have lost me all of that money. The most I've ever gone is 7. When I remember one Saturday I lost the first 7 races. And obviously this isn't over a 1-day period. This is over like a 3-month period. So I always think that if you have 20 times your stake in the system, then you shouldn't lose. But we know gambling is a risk. We all know gambling is a risk. So in this part of what we've done for the last 3 weeks, your profit would have been £20.31. So you would have made over 100% because you've still got your 20 stake invested. So you would have got back 2031, and all that would be profit. And you can draw that whenever you want, and you can take everything out whenever you want, as long as I've got a 24-hour notice on it. And like I do to the people that have already got subscriptions in a different way of doing it, every evening they will get an Excel spreadsheet sent of all the meetings and all the selections, and all the selections are as you see them in descending order. So you will know what the top selection is, and if you can afford to do the second one, induction, then the second one gets done, and so forth until you have to stop. And of an evening I do the results show, and when I show you and I go through every race, every bet is there. So, and you can look back at the prices on Timeform to use exactly what I do to give that profit or loss figure. So you would receive them on a daily basis, and you would receive your profit and loss sheet on a daily basis. Because yes, when things are going well, everyone wants to join, but this is why I've enjoyed a few days of losses in between. And that's why I make sure I do videos on the losses as well as the profits. You know, even if we just look at the last 3 days, and we take yesterday, for instance, and we made a profit there of, let's get the right column. Yesterday we made a profit of 156.21, and the day before we made a profit of, let's get this right, there was only 3 meetings on the 25th, and we made a profit of £160.69. But going back to Sunday was a disaster of 196.09. So you can see that you get the odd day where it's not going to be great, and that's when everyone thinks, oh, I don't want to be it, I don't want to be in it. But I tried to do this over a 3-month period, but it's not worth me showing anything from what I've done previous, and I do have it all, is because none of it was proofed in advance. And the only way you'll get people on your side or want to be part of it or want to try doing it themselves is see you win. And when you're proofing it the night before, and then in the morning with the Matchbook exchange or the Betfair exchange, whatever we've been using, then you can see for yourself none of this is cheating. It's the picking the selections that's the difficult part. The rest of it just comes naturally. But I understand that a lot of people don't have around 14, 15 hours a day glued to their computer just doing horse racing. I've got racing TV, I've got Sky Racing, I've got all the channels that I need for racing. I don't need to watch it, but I do. I don't look at horses where I think, oh, that was a great run in heavy going. I see that coming through the field. Next time I'll be on it. Nothing like that. I believe I'm one of the best tipsters out there, and I don't even use anything to do with weight, whatever it might be. You know, whether it's got a claimer on it, or they've got £7 better off. It's nothing to do with any of that. This is just mathematics. And your averages will win or they will lose. And most of the horses in each race that I do that have got the highest rating are in form somewhere. Not necessarily the top one, but more horses at the top of mine will be in current form than the bottom horses. But you do see the bottom horses win, and then you're scratching your head thinking, why didn't I get that? But don't forget, they lay horses out for a race. We went back to Langadan, that won at Cheltenham not long ago, won there last year. Then they run it in 3 bad races, to get the handicap mark down, and bosh, they put it in again. So there are going to be those type of races that you're not going to win. So getting back to the system here, if anybody does want to come into it, I'm prepared to start on the 1st, and I know 1st of April, and everyone goes, oh no, April Fool's Day is having a joke. I'm not having a joke, but I would like just to finish this month off and start it on the 1st. I bet every day anyway, and I don't deviate. I don't think, oh, this is not good, I'm going to have a bet on a dog or football or an accumulator. I don't do that. This pays in a big way and has done for many, many years. I've not worked. This is why I'm here every day. You know, you can contact me whenever you like and I'll be here. You've got the email at the bottom. If you want to contact me, I can send you any details that you want to any email you want to keep away from people that you don't want to know that you're betting. But if you do want to come involved, whatever the stake is that you want to do, so I've used a pound as an example. You would have profited £20.31 for a pound stake, but that pound stake needs to times by 20, because it needs to give you 20 races. Right? And as I say, it is a risk. If you wanted £5 worth of that 20, you would have had £100, and you still would have had your investment of 5 times 20, which would have been 100, in the system. You could say, well, hold on a minute, I want to put that all together. I've got no problem with that, because when I come round to the next day, I'm not putting you in on top of my stake. So if you wanted to come in something like this and you think, oh, I've won £100, by the end of next month, you might not win £100. And that's just how gambling is. But take it from me, what you've received back there of £20.31, let's get back to the pound stake. If you've taken that £20.31 out, it doesn't matter about that £20 you've got invested. Yes, you want to keep winning with it and never put any more money in. Because as long as I've got your 20 quid and as long as I'm betting, if it profits, you keep getting the drips from it. You keep getting whatever comes in. But it's never going to cost you anything. These 3 weeks have paid for your system until it fails. Until I get these 20 losers more than I get winners, that £20 will always be in there. You've taken the £20 out, and that's your stake back, and everything else is a bonus. Even if it then lost, it doesn't matter. It didn't cost you anything. So I did think it was a good idea when someone mentioned it, because I had a subscriber on a Saturday when we had it was after Cheltenham, the Uttoxeter, with the Midlands Grand National meeting. He said, I've got to go out today. I'm going to put all the Uttoxeter bets on in advance. But I never advised that to anybody. And I even did say, don't do it. Just wait until you're in for a whole day. And of course, when he came back, I think we had one winner out of 6 and lost £250. And, you know, you're saying, oh, it's no good, I can't do this, I've lost my bank. But if you carried on that night, there was a £264 profit at Newcastle. And this is what I'm saying about the long-term part of it. You need to keep going and going and going. So I'm the only person really that's going to be in to do all the form, because I'm the only one who knows the system of the form, because I devised it. And to sit on a computer for 8 hours. Yes, I might have a few races where I go, I'm going to put a line through that race because there's runners that haven't seen a racetrack. I do that quite often. And like last night, there was 4 races on the trot. There was no bets at all. So from I think it was something like the 5:45 race, I had no bet till 7 o'clock. So yes, it gives you a nice little break and do what you want to do. But if you're interested, as I say, the email's at the bottom of the screen. You can contact me on that. But remember, the percentage of what you're going to get is 40% of that £50.77 if you was in for a £1 stake. But that £1 stake, remember, has to be 20 times that £1. So if you thought, well, hold on a minute, I like that 2.5 grand, it's going to cost you 2.5 grand. I know there's people that out there that think to themselves, great, lots of money to give, but again, it's a risk. It's a risk. But whatever anybody has staked have already got their money back in 3 weeks, and everything now would be running for free until we get those 20 losers more than winners. Right? And this can happen, but if you've been following the channel for the whole 21 days, then you will see that we haven't hit that at all. I think we had 7 in a row. But of course, then you get your winners. And it would take a long time to lose 20. But again, no one's got to come in. All you've got to do is just keep watching the channel every day. I've got people that have subscribed. They got subscriptions out. And they buy different betting systems off of all different sites and lose. So what they do now, they come into something like my one that they bought and they don't bet. So they watch it go for 2 weeks. I've had someone that just watched it go for the last 2 weeks and didn't have a bet, and it cost him £1,584. And I've got someone else that's got a 2-week one out that's not betting as well, and he's just got £866 for the last 8 days. So, you know, you can do that as well. You can just watch it. You'll still get all that sent to you every day, even if you put money in and you decide, I don't want to start yet. You know, you can just sit there and watch. There's no one's being forced to go into anywhere. But yeah, if you do want to, the email's at the bottom of the screen. And I'll see you tonight at the results show. Thanks for watching.